Yep.
Yo, dude, how's it going?
Doing alright. Got the audio working now, so we're good.
All right, I'm with you.
You all set?
Yeah, sorry, I'm being a silly boy.
It's
Right,
alright.
hang on. Let me clear all my apps
Yeah,
so I don't get distracted.
you don't want to end up like me last time, or next thing you know, I was
Yeah, right.
stuck looking at some
Fucking.
bullshit on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, that was it. I've downloaded Instagram for the first time
Uh huh.
because here in the UK, cannabis coffee shops is a thing.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I'd say. There's about 10 in London. Free in this area. They're opening up everywhere. They're very high end,
Uh huh.
private clubs. So I'm trying to get in those. There might be an interesting story to tell people, but the thing is, it's really expensive, man.
Do they serve weed there, or are you just allowed to bring it and smoke it there?
Both. So they have like off the charts weed,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so expensive.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm checking that out. Yeah. Well, it's nice to see the change happening now.
Yeah.
That we're getting like really good quality from California and stuff like that, and the police are like letting it happen.
Yeah, I was actually talking to a friend of mine last night. He went on vacation to Japan, and he was saying that there's like no drugs over there, but there's like small little cities, and he was like saying how the prices are basically 3 to 4 times what they are over here because it's so rare. But I mean, if you're on an island, that can be understandable. Like he said, there's like one area that's very like high end, touristy, sort of Wall Street investment types, and like they allow them to bring in like cocaine, but that's about it.
Yeah, they don't like weed because it's considered like being lazy.
Uh
So cocaine's okay because it's like a productive drug. I
huh.
think that's how they like look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's crazy because like to get like a tin of weed in a coffee shop's like 50 euros for an eighth.
hmm.
So it's quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, besides that, what sort of news stuff do we want to cover and get into?
I'm gonna follow you, man.
Hmm.
See what you've got.
Well, there's the depersoning of Alex Jones,
It's been executed, man.
or basically digital execution.
Yeah, it's really, yeah. It's probably one of the most shocking things I've seen
Yeah,
in my
but
because I just want to make one thing clear with this. It's not about Alex Jones. Like you got to think how many journalists got their stepping stone, their platform, because they couldn't get on CNN News, they couldn't get on Sky News, or they just didn't want to. You're looking at people like Luke Radowski, you're looking at Dan Dix, you're looking at Mike Cernovich, you're just looking at name after name after name.
yeah,
You've got whistleblowers that have gone on there, like Nancy Shelfer, who was the CPS whistleblower, and she said she was going to die during that interview. She's dead 2 weeks later. So it's not about Alex Jones. These archives are gone. So if anything comes up in the news again, and you want to backtrack and listen to people that had a prominent voice first on Alex Jones like 5 years ago, you can see how accurate he actually is.
and
We've
speaking
lost
of
all of
that,
Aaron Dykes' work, all of Melissa Melton's work's gone, all of Jakari Jackson's work's gone. You know, it's just tons of people. It's not just Alex Jones. That's like a 12-year archive.
yeah, and speaking of which, let me find it. New York Times, New York. Oh, I could just pull it up from this author. There was even an article, and it was chocked full of fake news and little bits that other journalist outlets and news sources had they had published falsely and then printed retractions. And I'm like, why is the New York Times citing all this stuff that's like pre-retractions? Like all of these things have been updated, but now here's the headline. Alex Jones of InfoWars destroyed evidence related to Sandy Hook suits, Motion says. And it's because now think of it. This is why I think the whole depersoning thing is interesting, is because they've basically made it where the evidence isn't out in the public forum anymore. Like you're saying, these archives of Jakari and Melissa Melton and all the people that used to work there, Joe Biggs, Margaret Howell. I mean
Laura Loomer. It's just
yeah,
endless names. I'm just gonna reel them off.
yeah, all of that stuff is now missing. But they're saying that Jones should have kept copies of all of it and everything
Yeah, well,
like that.
did he? I don't know if he did.
Well, I guess that's part of it, is they're saying that, he doesn't have copies of it readily available, but that's probably because they figured the copies would be readily available on YouTube. But
That was a stupid thing to assume.
yeah. So, I don't know. I do think there's some fake news in here. I imagine they probably at that studio have a filing cabinet full of hard drives that are just marked off by dates. Like, I would think they have, updates,
Yeah,
or they probably have like a server somewhere with just
Or they've got a way of mirroring YouTube onto their own
yeah.
server or something.
So I don't know. I don't know how much I believe this New York Times thing, but I do think it's very interesting, the idea of they want it up to him to keep copies of all the videos while YouTube just purged him off of everything. And I'll tell you, it's really crazy. The thing I think about that boggles my mind so much is Alex Jones would be the one to talk about the internet ID and that they're going to, remove people in this sort of mark of the beast type system. And it's really like, I don't know if ironic is the word, or it's like, I feel like I'm surprised, but I shouldn't be surprised by the idea that he's like seeming to be test case 0 for this whole thing. Where it's like almost like the Chinese social score, where it's like you're so much of a problem social wise that we're just going to remove you from the internet. Like Alex Jones has become patient 0 in this whole.
I don't know if his patient 0 is probably the biggest, because Milo's like the Sex Pistols of Twitter. He was
That's
first.
true, yeah. And that's one of the other
Yeah.
things that people have said, with everyone being like, oh, well, Twitter has kept him around. And that's the other fake news thing. Him saying that thing about battle rifles and all of that. And this is their new tactic, where they will remove what you have said and then only have their disinformation out.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. So when you go on YouTube now and you type Alex Jones, you're just going to get the friggin' frogs again, his Bill Gates rant. You're just going to get the stupid shit, people debunking him, and no reply to anything.
Yeah.
So you're going to get 12 years of satire on him and no rebutting.
Yeah. You're not going to have because the thing when this all first happened that I had said was he must be winning that court case. He must be winning that court case, and the media, this is them in damage control for when he wins that Sandy Hook case, because whenever people talk about...
It's got nothing to do with Sandy Hook, it's the midterms.
Yeah, well, see, I don't know. If the news has been smearing Alex Jones for years now and saying Alex Jones says Sandy Hook was fake, Alex Jones says Sandy Hook, Alex Jones, the parents of Sandy Hook, and then it comes out that he didn't say that, and that this whole thing falls apart.
About a million times, and then it's recanted. So he has probably said it about a million times, but he doesn't say that now.
I mean, the thing that I'm so in some ways curious about this whole court thing, because there's a court case that's been going on for years now trying to figure out if it did happen or not. Like, you have Wolfgang Halbert going after the Newtown City School District, wondering where's the permission slips for the Super Bowl trip. Why did the school not have internet access for 6 years when it's a federal law that...
I have to cut you there, because I don't want to do the story big time, but I want to hit you with this. They found in Mexico an ISIS camp. You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Where they were training kids to do the shooting. Do as quick as I can, it's a long story. So at Mexican camp they found, they're training kids to do ISIS shootings, to do them in schools, right? And then they did a ritual where a 4-year-old died. They've arrested them and let them out on bail, and then the FBI have just demolished the site and lost all the paperwork. This woman that was working there looking after the kids they kidnapped was working on CNN News, and she was like wearing the hijab doing all this diversity shit on CNN News. She had Obama like praising her, and you just think that connects to Sandy Hook, because that shows you that there was actually a training camp.
Yeah.
it's been flattened because the FBI want to cover it up. These people that have kidnapped children to train to do school shootings have a direct link to mainstream media. That's the first time we've seen that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Alex Jones isn't there going, that is perfect proof that they did rig Sandy Hook. Because you say that school shootings aren't linked to actors and CNN. Well, there's a direct link. That bitch was working for CNN.
Well, and even the whole, now here's the thing that I think is going to go on as far as the whole battle axes thing and everything, Alex Jones is basically saying, Antifa, CNN, they're doxing people, they're, putting people's public information out there, so you need to protect yourself. That was the context in which he was talking. And they tried saying that Alex Jones is basically trying to mobilize a militia against the media. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a CNN version of the Charlie Hebdo incident go on.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
And then, but it's going to be like the Pizzagate thing, where it's going to be some actor is just sent into CNN headquarters, ends up
Jones just happens to be
happens to be named Alex Jones. He's going to shoot a bullet through a potted plant or something, and then they're going to act like it was a terrorist attack.
And he was a frog breeder.
Yeah, that's what's gonna go on. I think the media is gonna end up having like a false flag attack happen to them.
And it's the same with this. I really want to talk about a lot. This Isaac Cappy fucking bullshit. I'm sick of this fucking Isaac Cappy dude. What are you making of that freak?
Yeah, I watched his first interview and everything.
This is where I keep the children! Have you got any more evidence? What's the hardest bit of evidence?
Well, yeah.
This is where I keep the children! Have you got anything else other than that?
And then even,
about chicken!
Yeah, that I was just about to say that. We were at dinner and he said we have to talk about chicken. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
And this all happened when you started reading Reddit posts about Pizzagate. Is there any chance they're trolling you?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this guy, but he's not offering anything of substance.
Yeah, and then he goes, do this hashtag Survivor story so we can listen to all these thousands of stories. I've not heard one legitimate one.
Yeah. There's this thing that would happen. It's I forget the term psychology wise, but I mean it doesn't matter. Like if I ever went on Facebook and said I doubt the Sandy Hook school shooting happened, well, next thing I know, everyone I know knows someone who died that day or something.
The crazy shit you've said, and I could say Jamie said this is where he keeps the children. I could be reeling that off just going through previous podcasts.
But it's even or when I would be at school and someone gets shot, or something, next thing you know, it's everyone's cousin. It's that whole thing where it's like everyone wants to be a part of it, everyone wants to feel involved, so they'll loosely attach themselves to it. That's what I think goes on with some of the, it's like the Me Too movement, how it can go from here's 5 actual stories of scumbags and Harvey Weinstein and all that. Next thing you know, it's like, some guy winked at me on the train and it made me feel uncomfortable. Me too. That's where we're at with it now. Where it's like, it's more bullshit than anything substantial. Muddying the waters. That's all it is. Because...
Do you think it's just an idiot and he is like really trying to help, or is he just like an actor doing his job to make us look stupid? I mean, what is it?
That's a good question.
I think it's an actor making us look dumb because there's so many like we said before, Trump's got that executive order. You're seeing paedophile bust after paedophile bust in actual Hollywood. You saw that massive one in Pennsylvania with the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And it's funny that it's not funny, but Pennsylvania is the location where when the Pope went to America, that's where he visited.
I didn't think about that, but you're right.
Yeah. And apparently, according to QAnon, he had 45,000 sealed indictments all about kiddie fucking. The mainstream press laughed at it. Then they came back and rebutted it and said, okay, well, there's 3,500 of them. And then they came back going, okay, well, there's 20,000 to 35,000 of them, but not 45,000. It's like, Jesus Christ, what are we looking at? And then I quickly spit it out, but what I think's happening, if you believe in QAnon, if you do or not, if you do, then what that means is when you look at the New York City Police Department, they got Wiener's laptop, and this is where this all kicked off. So if the FBI are using these paedophile rings for bribery, to have their inside rings to control things, then that means there could be a civil war breaking out between the FBI and the NYPD Police Department. And you've seen some NYPD investigators getting assassinated last week. You saw a couple of journalists getting hit. If you're talking 45,000 indictments, the FBI is going to be fucked, aren't they? Like, they're going to be like 45,000 of them.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So it could be that the NYPD are trying to investigate and the FBI just shutting it down.
Yeah. But
you need a big tinfoil hat to go that far, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
type in, have you seen QAnon going on about the indictments?
No, but I have seen a couple people sort of taking issue with the whole QAnon thing, as far as that Ali Alexander.
What the fuck's Ali Alexander?
He was actually doing InfoWars for a little bit, and also Jack Posobiec, where they know who QAnon is, and I guess they're about to do an expose on it, because they're like Jack
They've been
Posobiec.
saying that for a long time.
But Jack Posobiec, it's really funny. He was showing some videos of these different people talking, because here's the thing: QAnon isn't one person. It's a whole bunch of different groups of people.
That's what Alex Jones said. Yeah.
It's groups of people that have been functioning.
One of them sack.
Under that name. Now, then there was a video though where some guy, Jack Posobiec, did a video where he's showing all of the false predictions and things that were wrong and everything like that. And then at one point he's showing a video of these Q decoders, and he said that's the thing you really have to look out for, is these people claiming to be the official Q decoders. Now remember, that was my concern when I said about Jerome Corsi, where I said my whole concern with Q is when you have these cryptic messages coming out, and then you have certain people who are like, well, I'm the translator, basically, and sort of making that their position. But it was like a guy showing a picture of like a bike rack or something, and he's podcasting with this other person who's like, why am I not seeing this on my end? Why am I not seeing these updated posts on my end? And the guy in the video basically admitted that that's because he hadn't posted them yet. Like, he's one of the people posting as Q.
Why hasn't Trump ever commented on Q? Why has no one ever asked him, like at a press conference? Or asked that Sarah lady does a press conference? Why has no one chucked that question out?
I've wondered why they haven't asked Sarah Huckabee Sanders about it. She's great though. I love how she doesn't play their games.
I fancy her quite a bit, to be honest.
Yeah, like I really liked it when they were asking, what was it? Someone asked about, I think it was Jim Acosta was like berating her and being like, well, what about the media? Can you say that the media isn't the enemy of the people? And she's like, I can't even go out to eat without being harassed. I am the only press secretary in history who's needed Secret Service. Why is this? It's because the media has created this environment. She's like, she just turned it right back around on them.
What's your betting on QAnon then? Like, if you had to put money on it?
Huh?
If you had to put money on it, like QAnon just being a bunch of nonsense, or... There's obviously something dodgy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's probably a mixture of both. It probably is an insider and just someone messing with us at the same time. I don't know. It's a bit like... it's kind of like... it reminds me of those people that sell scams, though, online. You know, where you get people's hopes up, you concentrate on your audience's sort of, stuff they want to believe in, like getting rich quick, pyramid system, tell them everything
Yeah.
they want to hear. I've got this money making machine that you can't see. Just like trust me and get all your friends involved, tell your friends about it. There's no actual substance though. And always people like tell their friends about it, and they tell their friends about it, and everyone starts joining it. And there's just giant pyramid. It's massive, and it's just earning snakeskin. Everyone loses their money.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that in a way, like BitConnect.
Yeah. I'm really surprised that, and you know what's weird is the media they
BitConnect.
haven't asked Trump about it, but I've seen like
Yeah,
CNN and stuff do stories about people holding up the signs at his rallies.
yeah, but Trump could just wear a hat with Q on it. Just do that.
Right?
Yeah, I reckon that'd be a sign. But then again, he did use that weird word, didn't he? Do you remember? QAnon said, right, I'll make Trump say this weird catchphrase. And then Trump said it. You've seen that one?
No.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the phrase was. It was a really weird fucking like Disney kind of phrase about tidying up quickly.
Hmm.
And Trump said it in his next speech, and you think, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
stuff like that's a bit weird. A lot of stabbings in London. Don't know if you've noticed. Like, I looked on England. Fuck, I'm stoned. I'm not going to be able to remember. But Texas is bigger than England, man.
Yeah.
And I think England's about a third bigger than Florida. That's how big it is. I don't know if that helps. But stabbings like every day, like mass stabbings in London. No, every single. There hasn't been a break.
How
And
is it still a bunch of acid attacks too, or?
yeah, that's pretty normal. But did you see we had that London Bridge attack? That was not London Bridge, Parliament attack.
A recent one or the one back?
Yeah, put this. This is fucking weird. Put this into Google. Put in a Westminster attack. There's one on Tuesday where this guy drove a car into Parliament, hit the barriers, and took out a couple of cyclists. So it's like bowling for Islam. That's what I call it now. Yeah, if you watch the video, it's fucking weird. First of all, I don't know if you've got it up, but they got the CCTV footage of it. And that's weird in itself because it's not CCTV footage. Hasn't got a date stamp on it, and it hasn't got the time on it, and it looks really high up. If you actually look, they don't call it CCTV footage, they call it aerial footage. So I can't figure out who the fuck was recording that. And then, funny enough, they didn't, like, London has got more CCTV just in London than the whole of Europe.
Yeah.
And yet there's just this one video of it, which is aerial footage in inverted commas, aerial footage. I don't know what aerial footage means. I do know what it means. It means it's taken in the air. But why didn't they just say we got CCTV footage?
Yeah.
And why aren't we seeing CCTV footage? So if you would be a gentleman and bring up the CCTV footage, it's fucking weird. It gets weirder. I don't know if I just smoked too much and I'm a bit crazy. But if you got the video up, can you see it? The aerial footage of the driver bowling for Islam. Don't type in bowling for Islam. That's going to be my new documentary film, if I ever get round to it. If you got it up.
No, I just have different news clips up.
Yeah, can you just see a picture of it though? That will do for now. As long as you can see a screenshot of it, that'll do. I'll talk you through it. Don't need to see, you can just take my word for what happens. If you've got a screenshot of it or anything.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. So the first thing is, right, there's a couple of things I'm going to rant about this. Is he drives down from the top left at the traffic lights, and there's an ambulance going through. So a bit conspiracy minds, like an ambulance is a government vehicle. It might be going to like an actual call out, but there's an ambulance following the car. And then look at the way the barrier is. What's the point in the barrier it crashes into? Can you see it's got like one barrier and it's got a barrier next to it? So he drove down there. Like, why the fuck did he drive down there? And then what's weird is a fan chases him before he does it. There's this fan in the background and it jumps the lights to follow him, and then it parks up right next to the armed cops. Armed cops get out and they're like totally cool with this fan that's just like followed the car up and just parked next to him. They're totally cool with that, and he's just jumped the lights. The other guys just drove head on into this barrier at full pelt. There was no point in it. Can you see the direction it's gone? There's no point going that way.
Yeah.
And yes, you want to go head first into a barrier. It's like, what? It's like, what the fuck is he doing? And even when I watched it with my mum, she's going, "You're right. This is like no one's that. Like, what is he doing?" Did it at 7:30 in the morning. So, I reckon I'm going to go out on a limb. I reckon it's just for TV.
And we're
Is that
watching this for the
stupid?
first time as you are.
All right,
He just calmly waits for the cops.
I got the
Calmly
video
waits for
going
them to
now.
turn up.
Now
Yeah,
that
watch
would
the
appear
fan
to be
behind it.
the actual
And look at where it
car
crashes. Do you see what I mean? There's no need to go the direction he went.
as
He
it
doesn't hit
crashes into the
anybody.
barriers outside the
And he
house.
just
Yeah.
pelts it into a brick wall for no reason.
So these are new
Fucking
BBC
weird, isn't it?
pictures,
Watch that fan behind
aerial
it chasing.
footage. You can see again highlighted the silver Ford Fiesta.
And the police aren't even like pissed off with him. They're like really cool with him.
Going across
It's like anything could be in
roads
that car. You could have weapons in
and
the
then
car, you
down
could have
into that
machine
particular
guns,
channel
be
towards the
rigged with
House of Lords,
bombs.
where
They
it
don't seem
then
that
crashes into the barrier.
concerned that could be the case. And now, like Sadiq Khan, actually, this used to be a meme. Like, we used to laugh about this. This used to be satire. But what satire in England in 3 months' time becomes normal? That's what you notice in England. It's satire, like you laugh about it, making a meme about how England will be. And in 3 months it happens. Sadiq Khan wants to ban cars in that area.
Yeah. I saw that.
He wants to ban cars. And you think, well, that's going to be perfect. Like Westminster, you're not going to be able to drive it. It's going to be completely like closed off, and it's going to be like really expensive property there, and they're just going to love it. So this guy just drives in, and the whole emphasis is, oh well, we'll just stick more barriers up and completely ban cars from this area. It's like the only people that keep safe is politicians. Like, I'm fucked. I'm just going to be like a skittle, or like bowling for Islam. It's like, why? If you watch the video, it's crazy, isn't it? It makes no sense.
Yeah. He just kind of cuts over.
Yeah, if you're going to run someone over, think of all the other places he could have gone. All the other targets you could have gone for in London and actually caused them damage, and he does that. And why is that fan? Look at that fan. It acts really like. Why is no one asking what the fuck's that fan doing? The fan is more suspicious than the car.
And we're watching this for the first time as you are.
I'm gonna watch it again.
Yeah, watch the fan behind it at the traffic lights.
Now that would
A
appear
white
to
fan.
be
He jumps the lights and nearly
actual
pushes the car out of the
car
way. Very
as it
un-British.
crashes into the barriers outside the House of Lords. I wonder if we can see that again.
Yeah.
So
And then
these
just
are
parks
new
up next to
BBC
him.
pictures.
Well, and it's
Aerial
weird
footage.
because you can see
You can
there's
see
like a
again,
light there,
highlighted,
and that van
silver
kind of
Ford
abruptly
Fiesta.
cuts over, but then there's another van in front of it, and you can see it trying to get around the side of it in that single lane
Going
road.
across two roads.
Yeah, the one
and
van
then
just
down into
cuts
that
over in
particular
front of the
channel
other
towards the House of
car.
Lords, where it
Yeah, so why is
crashes into
that
the
barrier there in the first place? Can you understand why you'd put that barrier there in the first place? Like, there's already a barrier on the pavement. You don't need another one. So I want to find images of their barriers of Westminster and see when they put that extra one there. No, I guess that's well, it's like a cycle lane or something. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, I don't know. So you got that going on.
And then they called him a
there.
British citizen when he had his passport for 5 weeks.
That's wild. He's only been a citizen for had a passport for 5 weeks.
From Somalia or something like that. Who would have thought? Now, what is he doing? I just watched the video. It's just like, what are you doing? And no one, Islam aren't going to take, no ISIS take responsibility for that, everything. And not, they won't, I bet they won't for that.
Yeah,
Like,
no, they're
what
like,
the fuck?
that's, I mean, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, this is like, when I'm reading this and it's like terror attack, I'm like, this is a pretty pathetic, like, attempt. Like,
Yeah.
he could have just been drunk. Like, who knows?
We were driving round for about 2 hours, apparently. Probably took that long to find some British people to hit.
Yeah. Cater is a 29-year-old Sudan-born British
Yeah.
national.
British national. What do you know? And then did you see Sweden? Like, you must have seen that.
According to his social media, the suspect had previously expressed interest in Sudanese music as well as Celine Dion, Rihanna, and Eminem. Celine Dion! That's who's responsible.
Yeah.
Celine
Ban off
Dion,
YouTube.
terrorist icon.
I could see it coming.
Cater is also an Aston Villa football fan who is said to have spent his time online and playing pool with friends. Friends described him as quiet, a good person, others as shy and remote. What is this, a dating profile? In April, he liked a blog post about how Birmingham school is giving students the skills to deal with and protect themselves from extremism and radicalization. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would consider this a terrorist incident or if this guy's just a moron. I'm kind of torn.
Yeah, no, it's been police said it was a terror incident. Pretty shit one. I think it's just to get I think fucking Sadiq Khan did it to get his fucking roadless Westminster.
Probably like a false
Start
flag.
banning them
Yeah.
cars, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna, and it's one of the things, like, I had always wondered as far as, like, the environmental
And also
movement.
it's London, they want to price people out, man.
Yeah.
Like Alex Jones says, it's about zoning places.
That's what
Like
I
you
was
said in
gonna say.
England. Yeah.
See, I was gonna bring it there, more of the environmental aspect, where I've always wondered with the environmental movement, how they want everyone doing public transport and not owning their own vehicles, how they would do that. But this is a way to sort of propagandize people into that. You can't have cars, it's not safe. It's like they're not going with the environmental excuse anymore. Now they're just like, you can't have them because someone else might kill you with it.
Whilst building a mosque.
Yeah, right? I hate these news articles about this shit though, where it's like they just try to put whatever they can about the person. He got a B plus in a science class once. It's like, okay, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, I've been wrong about something for quite a long time. You're going to need Google to believe this.
Okay.
I was like mad about Brexit.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out I was wrong because I come across a BBC article. The BBC never puts out fake news or just crap. It would only be like hardcore news. It's important. I mean, BBC is the British broadcasting nation. It's the auntie. They keep us informed. So I didn't realise this until, thankfully, the BBC informed me. But if you type this into Google, you have to read it yourself. If we go through with Brexit, there's going to be fears over getting sandwiches.
What?
Yeah, we're not going to be able to get sandwiches. Type that into BBC Brexit sandwiches. And yeah, now BBC's done it. Like, I've been following Nigel Farage.
Brexit threat to sandwiches.
Yeah, so I think they're right. I think people could vote again. Oh, definitely. I mean, sandwiches, dude. I mean, that's not a fear tactic. That is a real problem we're going to have to face.
Sandwiches would be some of the most vulnerable products if food chain supplies were interrupted. Isn't it amazing how Britain can manage to start up their own poppy fields for opium growing and pharmaceuticals, but you can't manage some lettuce and tomato?
Yeah, but it proves that Britain's one of the best countries in the world because with a sandwich, probably one of the best foods in the world. Because if you go to Italy, they have spaghetti. That's quite messy. You can't it's just a mess. See gangsters wearing bibs eating that shit. Go to China, it's just like soup and noodles and you use sticks. With a sandwich, you can drive a car eating a sandwich. It's perfectly fine. You can go for a run whilst eating a sandwich. It's just perfectly designed. It's got bread, it's got some meat, it's got some lettuce, it's got some crunch to it. If you toast the bread first and it's soft inside. I mean, it's so flexible, a sandwich. I mean, you could punch someone in the face while still eating a sandwich. It's not going to make a mess. It's probably one of the best designs I think you'll see in the food world.
I'm just confused. Like, it's you know what I hate about this, like, because first off,
they call Alex Jones fake news.
Yeah, there's no detail in this as to like what part of this, like, it basically is like operating on this presupposition that you need the EU to negotiate any sort of trading for you because the Brits can't do it on their own, I guess. Like, why wouldn't you just be able to call up Mexico and be like, we need some lettuce? Like, I mean, it's awful. I don't know if you've heard about, Steven Crowder has mentioned it in, which is in Michigan, I think. Yeah, Michigan, which has the Great Lakes and all of that, is one of the U.S.'s biggest cherry providers. Now, the global warming people said, oh, it's getting too hot, the crops are going to die, and then it's getting too cold, the crops are going to die. Well, now we've had, like, record medium-level temperatures, and because of it, the supply of cherries is through the roof. But the farmers, because they have so much of it, don't want this because it's going to make the price plummet. You'll be getting cherries for practically nothing because the supply is so high. So what are they doing? They're harvesting and destroying them so they can fix the prices. They're not feeding the homeless. They're not feeding the hungry. They're just harvesting them and getting rid of them so they can artificially control the supply and basically do price fixing.
Well, it's a good idea. I mean, most government programs end well.
Right?
It'll be fine, yeah.
But yeah, this is ridiculous. This article. This is really fake news.
It's non-stop. Like, Brexit in England, like I've never seen people in England actually get into politics before. Now everyone's just fucking pissed. They can't figure it out, and like that's the problem with Alex Jones, because you could show people like at least how the Bilderberg, I mean Bilderberg actually, like how the European Union actually came about. Because otherwise it's just me trying to explain it to them.
Yeah. One of the other things...
This is a bigger project than you guys understand. European.
One of the other things I think is so funny, I watched a video of Russell Brand talking about Kanye West being on Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, I fucking hate Russell Brand.
So do I. And I thought it was...
He was so funny when he first started, man. Like,
yeah.
I'll send you some of his original stuff. He was fucking hilarious.
And now that he thinks he's some sort of thought leader, he's just lost his mind. But so he's going on basically, talking about how Kanye has had this enlightening experience and how, Kanye's talking about different social pressures and social conformity. And Kanye has this really great line where he says, a 2-year-old is screaming in a restaurant that people are going to turn to you and say, teach that kid how to act. And he's like, and the truth is we're all unpaid actors in someone else's script. Which, I mean, that's such like a rapper punchline,
A good punchline.
Yeah, so Russell Brand's talking about all this, and, Kanye's, of course, saying, I started to ask, why are people telling me I can't support Trump? And Russell Brand even says, whether it's Trump or Brexit or this, and that, but he's against both Trump and Brexit. Like, he doesn't...
And he went with Ed Miliband. Do you remember his revolution in the last minute? He promoted Ed Miliband.
Yeah.
Remember that now?
And
that's when he fled, dude. Because England was like, you fucking...
And then there was one part even where he was like, he's talking to Jimmy Kimmel. I don't think Jimmy Kimmel's a representation of the man. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He definitely is. He is the late night host pinnacle definition of the man. Like, he's a mouthpiece for the system. So it's just amazing that Russell Brand is out there kind of posing as this countercultural...
Oh, fuck Russell Brand.
And meanwhile, he just keeps pointing to mainstream and being like, there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing. I like Jimmy Kimmel. I like this. He's not the man. And it's like, yes, he is. And this is why you'll never be this revolutionary that you want to be, because, like, I would always think it's funny whenever he would talk to, like, Jordan Peterson or Sam Harrison, and he's like, well, socialism. And they're just like, Russell, are you fucking kidding? Like, socialism is your... grand revolutionary idea. The Nazis tried that, right? No, well, I mean, it was socialism with caring and sharing. And it's like, you fucking get back on drugs. Just go for it.
Do you know how rich Russell Brand is?
Oh, I'm sure he's rich. Like,
he nearly
millions.
married a Rothschild princess.
Yeah. I remember that.
Projects is he could have done a lot of shit, dude. He could have just do it, like, off the bat. It would mean nothing to him. He's never done anything. Sick of it.
Yeah.
It's worse than Bono.
Yeah, it really is.
And
Come to think of it.
Geldof, who killed his own daughter to a satanic ritual, for God's sake.
Yeah, Russell Brand is, because at least, Bono doesn't have a YouTube channel where every day he's out there patting his own back. Russell Brand he's too full of himself.
I think it's full on Illuminati. Those tattoos are freaky as fuck.
What, his? Yeah. You know who I saw an interesting video
it's
from?
It's Aleister Crowley. I mean, he is.
Yeah.
Owen
Benjamin.
Wants to be the next Marina Abramovich, I reckon. He's trying to get the role.
Yeah. Owen Benjamin
drinking that blood
had a really good video and he showed a clip in it where you had Seth Meyers, Jimmy Kimmel, and James Corden, 3 of the late night hosts, say the exact same joke, word for word. And he said...
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it? I'll show you the clip.
I'm joking. Fucking with you, man.
But yeah, same joke, word for word on the same night. And it's like, he said, how could this happen? Like, in Hollywood,
mystery.
Joke stealing used to be a really big deal. Like, if you stole someone's joke, because it's like a musician stealing another singer's song. Like, you're stealing their livelihood. But these three will go out and tell the same joke on the same night and not think anything of it. And he says it's because it's weaponized comedy. It's basically propaganda. Another funny thing he had put out, I don't know if you saw the video, there's a video of Bill Maher floating around talking about, I think it's a 40-something-year-old woman having a kid with a 13-something-year-old boy. And he says, I'm not with this country's conservative standards. In my mind, this is just love. And it's like, okay, Mr. Pedophile, like...
It got out, I wanted to bring up this story, which I think...
Here, I got the clip right here, I'll play it.
I know People magazine agrees with me because they...
What do you think about this Seth Green
Mary
stuff?
Letourneau, the teacher from Seattle, who is in jail.
Is,
in love. That's how I view it.
Yeah, she's in love. That's how I view
I
it.
admit that it's...
Well, no, the James Gunn as well.
She is 35.
That's the one I meant.
But with the pictures from the party and stuff?
Just the whole thing, like, it's been a massive explosion, like Tom Hanks as well. Like, he had the big problem with YouTube. And then Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Owen Benjamin did that thing on Will Smith, like abuse and
Yeah.
which is real stuff.
Yeah. And I Owen Benjamin kind of put that all together in a way that I think most people hadn't, even though most people had seen those clips. And, like, when you put it side by side to him doing it to his son and then how he reacted to someone else doing it to him, that was really interesting, because I was aware of both of those clips, but seeing them in that context, definitely eye-opening. What was I going to say, though, as far as...
He's going to probably talk about Stormy Daniels. I don't know why that's in my head all of a sudden.
The James Gunn thing, what's interesting about that is you have, like, Batista, who, plays Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy, who could easily be replaced by Vin Diesel or any other jacked bald guy. And it's just amazing that he keeps getting on this hissy fit of, if they don't use James Gunn's script, I'm going to walk, James Gunn needs to be reinstated, and basically is like just cheerleading for James Gunn. And it really just makes me wonder, what do they have on Batista? Like, what's going to... there has to be something on him that people could pull up, because he is too supportive of this guy. And I mean, there's even... I've seen media hosts and YouTubers and stuff who aren't right-leaning whatsoever who said, someone who talks this much about pedophilia making kids movies is worrisome. And then the pictures from the party came out and they were like, there's no defending this. This guy is a creep.
Do you know what's pissing me off? Like, I'm going to go on a tangent if you don't mind.
Go for
down
it.
a bit of a rabbit hole. But I'm not saying you should do this. But obviously, I'm not saying you should do this. It'd be stupid. Let's say I had a kid, and my kid was like 14. Male kid. He's getting into chicks. And I took him to like a male strip bar. Show him some titties. So he'd have a look at some naked women. Get excited by it. You know what I mean? I would be demonized so badly. But what you're seeing now is it's totally normal to expose kids at 5 to like wearing a dress to church and then complaining because the church banned them. And you're seeing kids being put on these drugs so they don't go through puberty and all this.
Well, and you know what the other thing too is...
But if you want to...
Hold on, I just want to...
straight man up, and like...
Yeah.
A strip club's totally mild to like what you see at Pride. You see Pride. And Pride's the most degenerate...
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say is, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is no medication that is a unlabeled hormone blocker for transgender. The medication they use, I'm pretty sure it's actually a prostate cancer medication that they are giving as the hormone blocker, because that's what the prostate, it's basically... it's made where if you have prostate cancer, they give you this medication and it blocks the hormones to that area so the cancer won't grow. So it's basically they're giving this medication to transgenders because the side effect is what they're looking for. It's not even approved for what they're giving it for, which makes it even more worrisome and dangerous. Is there's been no tests for it, no trials, none of that. It's these kids are a guinea pig or guinea pigs. And you're completely right though. If you wanted to sexualize a kid in a straight manner, that would get people up
Which is
in
quite
arms.
mild. A strip club's pretty mild.
Yeah, compared to the stuff you see at Pride, yeah.
If you just went to Pride, and the kids are like, I've seen kids like just wearing underwear, dancing provocatively and shit, and it's like, it's got to be going down, man. I just can't, like, I'm getting more and more, like, it sounds crazy, but like we are facing evil. It is like,
Yeah.
it is satanic, and everything that Alex Jones said is satanic is going to happen. Everything's just an attack on Christianity, is what it is.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Like the whole transgender thing, it's just an attack on Christian values. I'm not saying the religion, but values. The whole refugee crisis, it's just knocking down Christian culture and wiping out the history of Christians. You see it in actual Syrian Libya. All the Christians are wiped out. You see it with the churches. You can just say anything, blasphemy all day long about Christians. Say anything against Islam, you're fucked. The breakdown of the family, feminism, it's all an attack on the nuclear family, which is, again, Christian values. Doesn't matter what political thing you pick.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, though. And this is one of the reasons why I really like Vox Day and some of the topics he covers.
I've never heard of Vox Day, man.
But he's really great because he used to be in the band Vox, which is a band from like the 80s, and then he went into video gaming. He publishes comic books, but he also does, podcasts on politics and everything. Alex Jones has had him on recently. I'll send you some clips after this.
Yeah, man.
But one of the things he says is, and he's one of the few people I listen to that considers himself alt-right, but not in the Richard Spencer type of way, where he's just kind of concerned for white, Western, Christian culture. And one of the things he says is he doesn't like the term Judeo-Christian values because Christianity came to essentially reform Judaism in a lot of ways. And he says Western culture is Christian culture. It's not Jewish culture, it's Christian culture. So when you see these attacks like how you're saying on Christianity and Christian values, well, that's the attack on Western values. They're synonymous, basically. And that's why he gets so mad at when you have these atheists and everyone else trying to say that you can have a good society just based on reason and evidence and whatever. And he's like, no, it just doesn't work. He wrote this really good book, The Irrational Atheist, where he just basically debunks a lot of the top atheist arguments. But you're right. Everything politically, all these movements, it really is just an attack on Christian values.
And then to top it off, they put that statue up of Satan, haven't they, somewhere in the fucking States?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? People just go, they're just atheists. It's like, yeah, a lot of them probably are. That's just a stepping stone, man. It just gets darker and darker.
Well,
and there's got to be a link. The link is, the key link, pedophilia has a link to Satanism.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
That's what, and then you think about the Vatican being knee deep in it. And like Leo Sagami talking about, the dark arts that take place there.
Well, and it's like, I mean, even this Pope, like...
Kern freaks me out.
This Pope comes out all the time, and he's like, Islam is the religion of peace. You can't have a relationship with Jesus without the church. And, it's like, the things he says are blatantly like, I would consider him a antichrist type figure where he is like the head of the church, but yet just against Christianity and Christian values every step of the way. It's really like mind-boggling when you see some of the things that come out of his mouth.
Yeah, and then you see what Khan are coming out with. Like,
I haven't heard any updates from there.
I don't want to. Yeah, man. It's a creepy old world.
Yeah. Let's see. Batista loses it. He thinks Donald Trump fired James Gunn. I told you he was going nuts. Yeah, it's. I'll tell you though.
Why
think
hasn't
there's.
Trump said something about Alex Jones?
He kind of
Thought
did.
they were buddies.
Yeah, no, he kind of did. He came out and said something about the different conservative figures being like banned and censored from different. Oh my God, I'm meditating with Russell Brand, Kundalini yoga with Russell Brand, Kundalini yoga, ego eradicator. I mean, God, to think Russell Brand is the person trying to teach you how to eradicate your ego with yoga. You know, I remember, and all this meditation stuff and everything, I remember there was a congressman, how you were talking about Satanism and, you know, art fighting against evil. And there was a congressman who came out at one point and said meditation can lead to like demonic possession or something. And people were like, what? How dare you? What are you talking about? How dare you say that? So they went after him for it and expected him to apologize. But instead he just doubled down where he was like, well, you know what I'm talking about is anything that encourages someone to empty themselves and to void themselves. You know, when you empty something, something else will fill that void. And if you're not awake and aware, you may not know what that is. And that's why I sort of like, I have a friend of mine who was talking to me and he was like, oh yeah, you know, I met our other friend's kid. He was like, she was playing and the next thing I know, she just went into a corner and sat Indian style and was like meditating. And I was like, oh, that's so cool, you know, this, and that. And I'm like, that's not though. Like, why is a child need to know how to like meditate and try to empty their mind? Like, it's this weird sort of thing you have with these new agey type people where they think by emptying your mind you can gain enlightenment. And it's like, you can't get something from nothing. And that's basically what you're proposing. Like, I will get more enlightened through being empty. How does that work?
I know, you're asking the wrong guy, man. I don't know. All I know is I'm creeped out. I don't know why I go down the rabbit hole so quickly. What's your theory? Because you're Christian, do you believe in Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hold on, meditation, demonic. I want to try to find that article. But maybe this is it. Yeah, I mean, I think he's good in like two types of way. I do think there's historical, you know, reasons to think that there's Jesus, and there's also the archetypal way to view it. However,
Do you think? I think people should, maybe we should just go to church and just start a men's club at the church.
You know, there are, at my other job, there are some of the people I talk to that go to different men's groups at different churches and stuff. And so, I mean, they're out there. And for some people, it is really helping them. Is this guy a senator, maybe? I'm telling you, there was... Oh, yeah, GOP candidate. Yoga opens you to satanic possession. Virginia Lieutenant gubernatorial contender E.W. Jackson in 2008 took a stance that's apparently common among Christian conservatives. According to Jackson, when one hears the words meditation, it conjures an image of Maharishi Yoga talking about finding a mantra and striving for nirvana. The purpose of such meditation is to empty oneself. Satan is happy to invade the empty vacuum of your soul and possess it. That is why people serve Satan without ever knowing it or deciding to. But no one can be a child of God without making a decision to surrender to him. Be aware of systems of spirituality which tell you to empty yourself. You will end up filled up with something you probably do not want.
I don't even know what empty myself means.
That's right? Yeah. It's basically, when people meditate, that's why they try to focus on their breathing and try to not think of anything else and just be and just exist. And
yeah, but once you've done a couple of minutes, you're good.
yeah. Yeah, that's why, and that's the other thing about it. Like, I would use meditation, like, if I'm sitting here and I have a couple hours and I want to get a handful of songs done, like, I'd work on a song, and then when I'm like, all right, I'm done with this one, I might take 5 minutes and just close my eyes and try to, like, meditate, just for, like, a reset, basically. And
Are you sleeping meditating, surely?
Yeah. And that's the thing too. If I'm having a hard time falling asleep, I'll try meditating to just kind of calm myself and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's like it's a tool in an arsenal. It's not a means in which. And that's the thing is there's so many new agey types that think that by doing nothing they're doing something. Like I said, they're emptying themselves and thinking they're gaining enlightenment by doing so. And it's like, no, you'll gain enlightenment by reading a book or by learning about something or doing things. You don't gain knowledge by emptying your mind.
Jamie?
Yep.
I'm out of ideas.
As far as?
Being horrified by the world.
Yeah, it seems like they've built a global Sodom and Gomorrah. It's a giant Tower of Babel.
Oh my goodness.
Trump's implicit defense of Alex Jones is an echo of birtherism. Oh my God. The news cameras showed up like they always do, and Donald Trump was ready. He emerged from Trump helicopter. He grinned and then took one of his most absurd victory laps with every tweet storm, blah, blah, blah. So much of this news shit is filler. Like for them to be like bringing back up this birth certificate nonsense, like these people just, I don't know. All right, well, here's Trump's tweets on that. I'll read them out to you. Social media is totally discriminating against Republican/conservative voices. Speaking loudly and clearly for the Trump administration, we won't let that happen. They're closing down the opinions of many people on the right, while at the same time doing nothing to others. Censorship is a very dangerous thing and absolutely impossible to police. If you are weeding out fake news, there's nothing so fake as CNN and MSNBC. And yet, I don't ask that their sick behavior be removed. I get used to it and watch it with a grain of salt, or don't watch at all. Too many voices are being destroyed, some good and some bad, and that cannot be allowed to happen. Who is making the choices? Because I can already tell you that too many mistakes are being made. Let everyone participate, good and bad, and we will just have to figure it out. Doesn't that sound like a tyrant to you, Paul? He wants everyone able to speak. What the hell?
It's terrifying because China runs your freedom of speech. I mean, it's a conspiracy.
Digitally, yeah.
Saying Alex Jones talks about he's a conspiracy theorist, whilst he's being hit by a conspiracy.
Yeah, that was one of the. Now, even at my job, the at the restaurant, the one day, someone was talking about that, and there was a woman in there who was a Bernie supporter, probably never listened to Alex Jones, but when she heard what happened, she said, "Well, he must be right about something." And these people don't realize that it's backfiring on them because all these people that are sort of, 70% of people don't trust the mainstream media. But those 70% of people aren't Alex Jones listeners. Maybe 20% of them are.
I got into Alex Jones because I backtrack. I get interested in politics. When I backtrack on previous things I was interested in and look at his spin on it. And that would be impossible now.
But the thing is,
there now you're just gonna get friggin' frogs again.
Yeah,
which is a good rant, but it's not.
But the thing I'm saying is, like you just said, when the conspiracy theorist is the victim of a giant conspiracy, he becomes vindicated. And now you have more people than ever think that he must have been right about something, because if he was just wrong and full of shit, you could have just left him there to be a crazy person to be laughed at. But because they took him down in the way that he did, people see him as he must be a threat to the power structure. And I mean, I'm talking about liberals and Bernie supporters that are now looking at Alex Jones thinking he must be right. Because they just know they wouldn't have gone after him like this if he wasn't. It's like how Alex Jones says, you only catch flack when you're over the target.
What if? I'm just saying what if, right? What if it is a conspiracy? Because Trump always wanted his own news network. They could launch Alex Jones into his own network.
Yeah.
Couldn't it?
Well, you know what else is really funny? I don't know if you heard this other fake news story where there was like a pirate radio station set up in Austin that was broadcasting Alex Jones's show.
Yeah, well, that bit's true.
Well, yeah, there was the radio
The
station
rest
and
of it
everything like that.
wasn't, yeah.
But yeah, they tried to say that that's Alex Jones's flagship station. Like, Alex Jones
they
is
shut it
involved
down
in
last year, though.
They tried to say that, like, they're trying to act as if Alex Jones is even involved in it. And it's like, no, Alex just lets other people pick up his show and broadcast it and doesn't ask for anything or anything like that. So it just happens to be an illegal radio station that was broadcasting Alex Jones. But because, they're launching this giant smear campaign against him, and that was one of the things in that New York Times article that I said was just full of fake news.
You think the deep state are that stupid, though? Because Alex Jones' name's everywhere. Like, they're not that dumb.
Yeah.
Alex Jones is now, I don't know, just catapulted.
Yeah. Well, and then even, did you see his website went under attack this week, too?
Probably did it himself.
I don't know.
I don't know. Whole thing's just getting weird with Alex Jones now.
Yeah.
A bit too weird.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier with the whole idea of, if this internet censorship, ID, social score thing kind of ends up launched around Alex Jones, like, it's really suspect to me for the number one person talking about it to be the pinnacle figure of it being launched. You know what I mean? It's like if someone tells you that, lightning is going to start striking the ground and killing everyone, and then they're the first person the lightning hits. Like, it's sort of, you'd almost be like, did they plan that?
It's very weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because it's backfiring as well. It's so obvious that it is. That everyone's going, well, he should be
Yeah.
reinstated. You just think the deep state aren't going to be that. If they knew what they were doing, they would have just reinstated him like 2 weeks ago and just been done with it. It would have like blown over by now.
Yeah, it's I have a hard time wrapping my head around that, how they don't realize how they're just sort of building his influence, like making him more and more influential, and like I said, vindicating him and making other people who had no interest in him now think he must be right about things.
But then again, you can't underestimate his back catalogue. That if Alex Jones is naturally becoming more dominant, if people do start going through his back catalogue,
Like the
they start
documentaries and all that.
yeah, then you start coming across all these other reporters, and it just opens that big web up for people. And now that's completely gone.
Well, and but see, that's one of the other things I was wondering is like Alex Jones's documentaries and everything like that. Like you always have other channels that used to mirror his stuff, like Open Mind and Conspiracy Scope and ones like that. And I wonder, are they going after the channels that would just host Alex Jones's content now too?
Yeah, they have done that. Yeah, because I'm subscribed to loads of those, and they're gone. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've noticed they're not reposting his videos anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if Alex is putting all the shows up on BitChute and stuff. I suppose I can check it out. I'll tell you, one of the other funny things I thought was going on is the stuff with that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, some of the things with her where, it's so funny how the right wing can just point to her and laugh, and then you have these liberals like the Young Turks and everything else end up thinking everyone's afraid of her. And it's like,
You should do a video review for that. Watch the Young Turks talking about Alex Jones being taken off.
Well,
Bet you can make a video about that. I haven't seen it, but I bet it's classic.
One of the things I was going to do, because I can do live streaming through Mixer, is I was going to start doing a series of videos called The Hour of Hate. And it was basically going to be an hour of me hate watching different things, like CNN or the Young Turks and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's join in. You can send me a link to what you're watching.
Yeah. Let's see. Here's a video of someone claiming Alex Jones hacked his own
14th,
website.
2018. In the headlines today, Alex Jones InfoWars is under attack, getting mainstream attention for this. And very clearly, if you have a brain, you can see this is a gimmick. We're at Alex Jones's website, Infowars.com. Normally, it has a lot more razzle-dazzle going on, a lot more video.
What was that?
Stir the pot a little bit more, doesn't it, if you did?
It calls for more censorship because the CIA, Alex Jones show. Oh, this is just one of those videos that thinks everything's a conspiracy.
Right, yeah. And everyone in Hollywood's like a transgender as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and all these people who are, like here's one of the things, especially like there's a video in here where it's like Hillary and Trump are friends. Here's my proof, a picture of them together. And it's like, if they were really friends, I don't think Trump would have brought out Bill's rape victims and been making an issue of that. Like there were levels that those debates would get to that just weren't needed if Yeah, like even someone in these comments is saying, Alex Jones covers vaccines, fluoride, aspartame, GMO, Common Core, 9/11, Antifa, Sandy Hook, false flags, and more. I fail to see how this is gatekeeping.
Alex Jones is fucked, mate.
Yeah.
He is going to look like a lunatic, anyone looking now. Because you can't see the original source.
I was like in covert operations in Southeast Asia, or I was in, Europe, or I was here or there, and I had the local CIA head guy come by and go, "Listen, Infowars.com. This guy knows what's going on. He compartmental."
Got hit.
Huh?
Got Stephen Molyneux said he nearly got wiped out.
Oh, yeah. He got 2 strikes, and then Gavin McInnes got taken off of Twitter.
And Tommy Robinson's off.
Is he? I didn't
Yeah,
hear
he's been
that.
off for a while, I think.
Yeah, I guess, is this Infowars? Yeah, Infowars they're being active on BitChute, which is pretty good. I guess we'll just have to get more active on BitChute. They already have 23,000 subscribers on here. That's pretty good. I mean, that's the thing people don't realize is virtue signaling people to death is the new left's ritual. Did you hear about those 2 people that went like bicycling near some ISIS territory or something?
Yeah, so sad. It's on video as well, them being butchered. They filmed it.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. Fucking dickheads.
Yeah.
And that guy that stole the plane. See that dude?
No.
Suicide guy. Stole a plane. He worked at an airport, stole a plane, and did some loop-de-loops. And smashed it into an island. So they're sick of being
So
a
when
white
your wife
man.
says, Alex, please pass the potatoes.
What does Elon Musk say? He says, "I've been at the big corporate boardrooms where they say humanity will be obsolete by 2050. This is the consensus at Google and Facebook and Twitter. I mean, this is the plan, and we're going to merge the machines and become gods. But first, we've got to reduce the world population 90%.
My headphones are breaking.
Well, they're the ones actually hurting the environment in most cases.
Huh? Sorry, I had some video playing about like a satire kind of video. It's funny. One of the people in these comments said, "I love that Alex Jones can handle self-deprecating humor. One of the reasons they can't destroy him." And that's so true, is that because Alex Jones doesn't take himself serious and, likes when Super Deluxe does, like, the song videos of him and things like that, they can't. It's hard to mock and make fun of someone who enjoys being mocked and made fun of.
Yeah, he's like that in real life as well. Like, it's really funny.
Yeah. Oh, did you see about the one of the other things is they were having that sort of Charlottesville march again, and there were only like 20 white supremacists that showed up. So then next thing you know, Antifa was attacking the journalists and police.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to run. I'm gonna have to do one, man.
All right. Well, we already got over an hour.
But thanks for the chat, though, man.
Yeah, of course.
I'd cut the last 10 minutes. Probably people have fallen asleep now.
Okay. I'll just add in that the video I had started, there's like some funny cartoonish Alex Jones video, and show that at the end. But all right, man.
Don't
We
forget
can
to
catch up
send me
next
those
week.
links, those videos you told me.
Yeah, all the Vox Day stuff.
What's the guy's name?
Vox Day.
All right, cool, man.
So.
All right, cheers,
all right.
then.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, see ya.